An issue I've had in my basketball code window creation before is how do you include free throws? Free throws are a very important part of the game. You can score sometimes upwards of 30% of your points from free throws, so you need to include them. But how do you integrate them into your code window? So in my primary basketball window for the home team or the team that I'm coding for, I do it on an individual basis. And then for the opposition, I do it on a team basis. So I'm going to show you how I do it for both. So in my primary code window, I've got, when you press down offense, you've got all the offensive stats come up. Oh, there we go. Got all the offensive stats come up, and then when you press defense, all the defensive stats come up. So offense, defense. Now, when there is a free throw opportunity, I've got a giant toggle button that just says free throws. Now, there's nothing special about this button. The scripting is just the button color, and it's got a button ID of home team free throw. Now, that's important. But that's the only thing about this button. It's just otherwise a normal toggle button. Now, when I press this button, I've got an extra set of labels or extra set of variables that show up in my player toggle box. So I've got a +1, +2, and a +3, and a 1A, and a 2A, and a 3A. Now, this covers every single possible outcome from free throws. Now, you can only ever score 3 points from free throws, and you can ever only take 3 attempts. So this covers every outcome. You can do 1 of 3, or 2 of 2, or 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 1 of 3, whatever outcome there is. So for my free throws, you press how many points were scored, and then you press from how many attempts. Then once you press that attempts number, it turns off that free throw button. So you click 2, and then 3, and it turns it off, and it goes back to those offensive stats. Because you've got to imagine if you miss that last attempt, you need to be able to click an offensive rebound label because someone on your team might get an offensive rebound because you might miss that last attempt. So how does that work scripting-wise? Well, if I just click the free throws to get them back up, it's actually just one line of scripting. So if button home team free throw state equals 1, so if this button is pushed down, that's what equals 1 means. You can have a button in 2 states, 1 or 0. 1 equals push down, 0 equals not push down. So if this button is pushed down, move button to the front, so show it basically, it's always there. Now it's just being brought to the front so you can see it, and then comma move button back. So this again, the second comment after a comma in an if statement is what you want this button to do if this initial condition is not met. So if this condition is not met, move button back so you can't see it again. So that's the scripting for the individuals. Now in terms of the team method, all you have to do is click free throws again. It's just another toggle button. And it's just got the same options, but just not on an individual basis. So again, you're covering all your options, +1, +2, +3, 1A, 2A, 3A, and you click how many points, then how many attempts. So 2 off 2, and again, it turns it off. They just disappear. Again, the scripting is not difficult for this. If button away team free throw state equals 1, so the exact same if statement, again, 1 or 1 or 0, 1 equaling push down, 0 equaling not push down. Button opacity, 80, so this one's slightly lower. We'll go to the 100. Button capacity 100, so if it is pushed down, show this button's full opacity. If it's not pushed down, if the condition is not met, button opacity 0. And those buttons and those labels, which are these are all labels. When you click either of the free throws, these labels are going to go either into this player's code button or this player's row, or they're going to go into the team row for the team. These labels are going to go into the defense team. So that's how I do free throws. If you want to have a look at this little tutorial window here, there will be a link in the description to purchase it from my website. It'll be cheaper than like all my other code windows just because it's a teaching tool on how to do this specific skill. I hope you've learned something, and thank you very much.